In a small village nestled between the great rivers of Africa, there lived a young orphan girl named Ugo. She had lost her parents at a young age and had been forced to fend for herself. Despite her hardships, Ugo was determined and hardworking. Her father had taught her how to fish before he passed, and over time she became one of the most skilled fishers in the village. Every day, Ugo paddled her canoe out to the river, casting her nets with precision and hauling in the day's catch. She would roast the fish to perfection and sell them at the village market. But despite her talent, Ugo faced ridicule. The young men of the village would mock her, saying, "Fishing is not for women. It's for men like us. No one will marry a girl who smells like fish." The insults stung, but Ugo tried her best to ignore them. However, the constant teasing began to gnaw at her confidence. She wondered if the young men were right. Was she less of a person because she fished? One day, after being taunted relentlessly, Ugo grew frustrated and decided to venture deeper into the river, away from the village, to fish in peace. This part of the river, unknown to most villagers, was rich with life, and to Ugo's surprise, her nets filled with fish larger than she had ever caught before. She started returning to the spot regularly, her catches growing even bigger with each visit. It was as though the river gods were smiling on her. One fateful day, as she pulled in her net, Ugo caught a massive, shimmering fish. It was unlike any fish she had ever seen. Its scales glinted in the sunlight like precious stones. Filled with wonder, she took the fish home, intending to keep it for herself. As she prepared the fish, cutting it open, she discovered something extraordinary inside its belly, a golden calabash, glowing with a soft, radiant light. Ugo was mesmerized. She cleaned the calabash, and feeling a strange sense of peace, decided to keep it. That night, she placed it beside her bed and fell into a deep sleep. When she awoke the next morning, something astonishing had happened. She opened the calabash and found it filled with gold coins. Ugo was stunned, thinking she must still be dreaming. She spent the day marveling at the calabash, unsure of what to do. The next day, to her amazement, the gold had multiplied. It seemed the more she took from the calabash, the more it replenished itself. Overnight, Ugo's life changed. She stopped fishing, dressed herself in fine clothes, and adorned herself with beautiful beads and jewelry. She built a grand house and walked through the village with her head held high, no longer the dirty fish girl, but a woman of wealth and status. As her fortune grew, so did her reputation. The same men who had once mocked her now lined up at her door, begging for her hand in marriage. Ugo, intoxicated by her newfound power, married 5 of them, giving each his own house in her compound. They cooked for her, washed her clothes, and catered to her every whim. She lived lavishly, throwing feasts and showering gifts on the village, and her husbands followed her around like loyal servants. But Ugo grew careless. She was so consumed by her wealth and pleasure that she began to lose sight of what mattered. Her favorite husband, a charming man named Ike, flattered her endlessly. In a moment of weakness, Ugo confided in him the secret of her golden calabash. Ike, however, was not to be trusted. He conspired with one of the other husbands, and together they stole the calabash while Ugo was away. By the time she realized what had happened, it was too late. The men had fled the village with her fortune. With the calabash gone, Ugo's wealth vanished overnight. Her remaining husbands, seeing that her riches had dried up, abandoned her one by one. The villagers, who once praised her, now gossiped and laughed behind her back. She had lost everything, not just her wealth, but her dignity and pride. Realizing the error of her ways, Ugo resolved to start over. She sold her remaining clothes and beads and used the money to reopen her fish business. But this time, she was wiser. She expanded her business, hired helpers, and supplied fish to neighboring villages. Slowly, she rebuilt her life, learning that true wealth comes from hard work and perseverance, not from material possessions. A few months later, Ugo discovered she was pregnant, unsure which of her husbands was the father. But she made a promise to herself. No matter what, she would raise her child with love and teach them the lessons she had learned. In time, Ugo gave birth to twin girls, and as they grew, she taught them the values of hard work, humility, and resilience. The villagers, seeing the change in Ugo, began to respect her once again, not for her riches, but for her strength of character. Ugo had learned a valuable lesson. Wealth and power are fleeting, but the strength of spirit endures forever. The story teaches that true wealth comes not from material possessions, but from inner strength, hard work, and perseverance. Ugo's journey teaches that riches and power are fleeting, and relying on them can lead to downfall. However, humility, resilience, and the lessons learned through adversity are enduring, allowing one to rebuild and find lasting fulfillment. I hope you enjoyed the tale. If so, please like the video, share it with your family and friends, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for more captivating tales like this. Goodbye.